All right, we are continuing our Liberty baseball series preview here. We have three Hillier with us, and three. Before we get into it any further, just give us a little bit of a bio, like where you're from, what position you play, how long you've been at Liberty, and yeah, that should cover it.
Yeah, so I'm three Hillier. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm a junior here at Liberty. Um, I play catcher. I play a little bit of outfield. Last year I played outfield for Liberty. Caught a few games when Gray was hurt, but this year we're planning on splitting time and DHing while we're both not catching. So that's pretty much my time here. There's really nowhere I'd rather be than Liberty. It's a great place to be. Great people, great coaches. They do a great job of bringing in good players with good personalities, good people to be around. So Liberty is the perfect fit, and there's nowhere I'd rather be than Liberty.
So the guys I've talked to so far have basically talked about everybody is competitive,
Hmm.
but they talked about Coach Jackson wanting everybody to have fun too and enjoying your experience. And talk a little bit about that. What is it that you enjoy about even the days that you're not having a great time? How can you make it fun, and how does Coach Jackson do that? And has that been important to your success and your experience at Liberty?
Well, I think he just does a great job of recruiting players that will fit together. Not only just the talent level, but he does a good job of just getting good guys here. So just like all of our personalities mesh together. So we're always having a good time. They got us a ping pong table in the locker room. So that creates a little team bonding because we're always having competitions. But we just got a lot of competitive guys that want to go out there and win. And I think that's what's made the program successful in the past. Every day is a hardworking day here at the field. We got guys who just want to get better every day. We really just say 1% better every day, and I really think that's what we do a good job of. Just getting in the weight room, getting on the field, doing everything at a high level, and at the just looking at the details every day. And it's what's made us successful.
Yeah, you got that 2019 trophy behind you. I can see that's a pretty cool experience. I'm sure you're wanting to try to get back to one of those. This is our last year in the A Sun. All right, I finally before we get into the last thing here about on the field, I have some questions about you being a catcher. But before we do that, uh, just been asking everybody, what has your response to the collective, the NIL deal, and how cool is it? How fun is it? How exciting is it? And how impactful can it be to Liberty baseball to continue to get these types of arrangements for players? And and just tell me a little bit about your experience with it, and how excited you were when you first got the opportunity.
Well, I think it's awesome that they can do this for us, especially because we're a sport that gets 11.7 scholarships. So, a lot of guys are going to have student debt and they're paying a lot off on school. So we're kind of scrounging for money here. But I think it's great that they can do this for us and get us a little extra cash and that they're supporting us. And it definitely helps out with Christmas. I'll definitely be able to provide the best Christmas I have for this year. But I think it's a great thing that they're doing for us, and it's probably going to bring in better recruits for us with all these incentives.
Yeah, awesome stuff, man. So, all right, so you're the first catcher I've gotten to talk to. Uh, I'm gonna have some questions. I'm not a baseball guy. I do love watching it, but at the same time, I don't know what I don't know. So, first of all, is signaling pitches that has changed. I know in the major leagues they have the armbands that they can send. I don't know signals to the pitcher. Are we
Mhm.
doing that in college baseball? How does the relay go from the coach to the catcher to the pitcher?
Okay, so in past we've had Coach Williams will have us like a little sign on our wrist, and it'll have like numbers on it. So he'll like relay us a number, and we'll be able to see what pitch it is, and then we put down the number for the pitcher. But this year, I think they passed for the ASUN like mics to go in our ear. So Coach Williams will have like a walkie-talkie, and he'll talk into it and tell us what pitch to give the pitcher. But I have seen it in the major leagues and minor leagues that they got something on their knee that I think the pitcher has a mic in their ear, and whatever button the catcher presses, it'll like replay in the pitcher's ear. So
Yes.
I don't know when college baseball will get to that, but right now we're pretty much we're at the mic in the ear for the catcher,
Nice.
and it'll.
Okay, so how I mean, without giving away too many details, how many times do you guys change signals throughout the game? Is that like you just pick a set and go with it, or
Yeah,
is it?
I think it just depends. We're baseball is a superstitious sport, so if we're rolling with one sequence, then we're gonna stick with it if it's working. But I guess if we see somebody's picking up on something and they're starting to hit it better than usual, we'll switch it up. But if something's working out, then we'll stick with it. Pretty much because superstition, I would say.
All right. The other thing is about I want to know about is framing. So you hear a lot of like you hear an analysis about a catcher is defensive catcher. One is how good can he block the plate and keep pass balls down, but a lot is framing. And honestly, the framing, I don't know, watching on TV, it doesn't really look that impactful. Like we can all see that you're
Yeah.
moving the glove, like, but to the umpire who's right behind you calling balls and strikes, like that little bit of movement can help a lot. So talk to us, like give us a quick Cliff's Notes version of how to frame as a college baseball
Okay.
catcher.
Well, I mean, catching is an art. You have to work every day at it. I would say it's the toughest defensive position, just because you're always involved in the game, and you have to be more focused on defense than you do your hitting, and that should be your focus. But really, framing is just it's an art. The umpire they see over your shoulder, but they don't really see the depth perception very well. So, say you got a low pitch, and you bring that up, you don't want to over exaggerate it, but it plays dividends when you're doing it, and it's an art. So we really just look at big league catchers and how they do it, but you don't want to be yanking everything. It's really just a subtle movement that you're just trying to fool the umpire.
Okay. So it's a subtle movement. You don't want to get into the where it's an obvious like
Mhm.
you're yanking it up
Yeah,
into the strike zone. You want to kind of like, okay, it's hit your glove down here, but you want to make it appear that it hit your glove up here,
yeah,
kind of thing. And
yeah, pretty
is
much.
there is there a is there a one spot that works better for framing than another? For example, does a low pitch bringing it up into the zone work better than maybe a high pitch bringing it down
Yeah,
or inside outside?
low pitches are definitely the easiest pitches to steal because of the depth perception. The higher it is, the easier the umpire can see it. But and on the corners also, you really it's got to be more subtle on the corners, just a slight like move in, because they can see the corners better and they can see like if you're yanking it, they're probably not going to give it to you because they're going to think it's a ball. So the more subtle you are and just the quieter you can be, the more pitches you'll steal.
What talk to me about the different pitchers that you work with and the amount of movement on these balls. Have you ever been in a spot, where you see a guy, whether it's one of your teammates or an all-star game or something like that, that you really haven't caught much, and they throw a pitch and you're like, wow, like this is moving a lot more than it normally does, or he has something going on where he's in a groove today. Have you ever been there where you're like, wow, something is different today, or you've been surprised by the amount of movement on a ball?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pitchers have their off days and their good days, but it's easier like when you're on a team in college baseball. So, like, say you got your spring team. When you go to summer ball, it's completely different because you're catching guys for the first time. But I mean, we catch these guys every day for a whole year, so we pretty much know exactly what they got. We know what they look like when they're good. We know what they look like when they're bad. So we pretty much call pitches off of that. We know what they got that day. Summer ball is a lot harder though. Like you got good pitchers that you've never seen before. Sometimes you'll catch a guy for the first time in the game, and you got the warm up pitches to see what he's got, and then you just got to fight while you're catching him. So summer ball is definitely a lot tougher. But for Liberty, we really see these guys every day, so we're
Yeah.
used to what they have.
Another thing I'm interested in baseball and learning is I know that Coach Williams is calling in the pitches, but um, how many times does a pitcher shake you off? And when he starts doing that, do you just like look over at coach like,
Yeah.
coach, he's shaking you off because, and do you ever get to the point where, I mean, have you ever been in a situation where you've had to like, he shakes it off and you still give him the same sign, he shakes it off and you give him the same sign, and you're just like not budging. Has that ever happened to you?
No, we've had plenty of those situations. Really, they'll just step off the mound. But if Coach Williams is calling pitches, they know not to shake their head. But if they think they got the guts that day and they got something they like better, then they'll shake. But yeah, I'll just keep throwing down the same sign, and they'll just keep shaking. Eventually, step off the mound, and we'll have to talk. But that's something that they need to communicate with Coach Williams. But really, they're not supposed to shake off the coach unless
Yeah.
it's trusted. Like, I don't know if you remember Trevor DeLate,
Oh yeah.
but he could pretty much shake to whatever he wanted. If you're rolling like that, they'll let you throw whatever you want.
Awesome. All right. Another thing I have is about relievers coming in to the game before they throw their first pitch. Just by like they're almost they're weird, man. They're very weird. They're high strung, and they just have to bring this intensity because of their situations, and they just can't really ease into a game like a starter can. My question is, as a catcher and a teammate of some of these guys, by the way that they just walk to the mound, run to the mound, whatever it is they do to get to the mound, can you tell like, oh yeah, he's bringing it
Oh
today,
yeah,
or
you
he's
can.
got that extra
Yeah,
intensity? Is that
you
something
can.
you can pick up on?
Oh, you can definitely tell. After when you catch these guys so much, you can tell like when they're really locked in and when you can see that there's something off. So by the way they're walking out or the way their warm up pitches are going, we can talk to them before they start, like before they throw their first pitch without wasting like a trip or something. So we can definitely talk. But if I see he's locked in or something, I'm just letting him roll. Like we don't even need to talk. Just go ahead and do your thing. But if there's something off, then we'll go ahead and have a talk. But yeah, you can usually tell.
Okay. I got man, this is interesting. So I'm gonna keep going here. What is the
All right.
conversation like with you and the ump? I know most catchers are pretty respectful, and it really doesn't help to kind of berate the ump back there. But I'm sure there's several times a game where you just ask the ump like, hey, where was that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of your way of saying, hey, you missed that one.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
is that kind of how you play that, or
Yeah.
have you ever gotten to the point where you're just like telling the you're missing too much,
Yeah.
or do you try to stay away from that?
That's a good question. So Coach Williams, he sometimes he gets mad at me because he wants me to like just be assertive and like tell him what he's doing wrong. But usually, yeah, you're right. I'm just like, yeah, where was that one? That's pretty much telling him like, yo, you got that one wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but I honestly, you'll have some umpires that just want to talk the whole time, and I'm just like, I get so annoyed because you're trying to focus and they're just trying to talk to you. I'm like, just shut up. And
Yeah.
you got some umpires that they won't say a word the whole game. I kind of prefer that, but every now and then, like, yo, where was that at? And that's pretty much like, yeah, you got that one wrong. And
Uh,
they'll just tell you how they feel about it.
yeah.
It's nice to talk to them about it.
Yeah, to get to that level, they have a certain level of confidence, but
Yeah.
they also in their careers have been humbled, I'm sure, several times. And then the other conversation I want to know about is with pitchers. I mean, if he just needs to calm down, and you're going out there, and you really don't have much to add, you're just going out for a meeting just to give everybody a little breather. Have
Mhm.
you ever gone out there and just not really said anything? You just look at him like, all right, let's go now.
No, I
Or
haven't
are you
really.
more vocal, like, "Hey, how can
Yeah.
I help you? Here's what I'm seeing," that kind
Yeah.
of thing?
Usually it's like trying to fire them up. Like you know the guys and what makes them good. So sometimes you got to talk soft to them. Like, come on, buddy. Like you got to settle down. And then sometimes you got the guys that you got to fire up and get into them. So those are the better conversations I like. But you also get the guys like I had a kid in summer ball that shoved me off the mound because I tried to fire him up, and then he ended up striking out the side after that. So it worked out, but he
Yeah.
ended up trying to embarrass me in front of everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
man. So, when you guys are having those huddles on the mound and the coach isn't there, uh, who takes lead of those most times? I know, you were in the outfield a lot last year, but is that a shortstop responsibility? Is that a catcher, or is that just who's feeling it right there in that moment?
Hold on, can you explain that one? What did you say?
Yeah, like a team meeting, like infield, everybody
Okay,
in type thing, and before the coach gets there, or if the
okay.
coach doesn't come out there, which is it a position? Is it a player? Is it just who's feeling it at that
It's really
moment?
just who the leader is, or who wants to speak up. Usually, the shortstop's the leader and the catcher's the leader. I would say when we're meeting together, the catcher is usually saying something, but say that the shortstop calls the infield in, then he'll be the one talking. But the shortstop should be the leader over everybody else, and I mean, honestly, that's just how it always works out. The shortstop and the catcher are the leaders of the team, and they're the ones speaking up the most.
Awesome. All right, man. Hey, a lot of good information. Really looking forward to watching you behind the plate this year. I think this team, like I've told everybody, has added a lot, but also brought a lot of production back. I think we have some special things in store. Looking forward to following along, man. Appreciate your
Definitely,
time.
definitely, I appreciate it.